And Anand, today's topic is digital supply chain delivery. Let me start off with a simple question. Why supply chain planning, and more importantly, why digital?
Hi there, Dustin. Thank you. Great question as always. In fact, digital, it seems this word needs to be added to whatever we're working on or discussing to make it appear interesting and relevant to our audience. My 20 years of work experience has revolved around supply chain planning. While I have not implemented a supply chain planning system in a number of years, I recently got the opportunity to implement a supply chain planning and scheduling solution for a large oil and gas company. This provided an excellent opportunity to review and evaluate the benefits today's digital environment provides to deliver supply chain planning solutions compared to just a few years ago. I thought it would be interesting to discuss if the benefits of supply chain planning solutions can be realized faster and can be further augmented through the digital tools and capabilities available today. The benefits of a supply chain planning solution are well proven and typically include improved visibility to demand, inventory, and supply, improved order, inventory, and production metrics, and the ability to tie supply chain processes and capabilities to company strategy. The speed of the value is realized is dependent on the implementation and how the customer, as well as the service team, create, clean, and manage the required data, define and integrate the supply chain planning tool into current and new business processes, effectively manage the change, as well as understand the capabilities of the supply chain planning tool and how to deliver it.
So, how can today's digital environment better facilitate the delivery and the corresponding value that's obtained from a supply chain planning implementation?
Let's start looking at creating, cleaning, and managing data. Clearly, clean and accurate data is vital. For customers who are implementing a supply chain planning solution, especially for the first time, they indicate they have routing and bill of material data and are using it to make and ship product. As a result, they perceive their data as clean. However, just because data exists and is in use, it does not mean it is clean or even accurate. Based on the type and quality of data the supply chain planning solution requires, it becomes apparent very quickly that client data is not clean. With today's digital capabilities, it is possible to set up artificial intelligence and machine learning rules to help review and clean the data, as well as learn about its creation and maintenance, thereby improving its accuracy. Commonly, as the planning engine processes the data, it highlights inconsistencies and incomplete structures which need to be fixed. Also, the data that is required, especially for secondary or tertiary constraints, commonly does not exist in client systems. In addition, the supply chain planning solution requires data in a very specific format. So there's effort required to convert the data within source systems to the required planning system format. Again, today's digital capabilities can help with this, providing a framework to help users store, create, and maintain these additional constraints, as well as ensure data is in the required format. In addition, implementations today commonly leverage managed services to help the customer create and maintain their supply chain planning data, especially those required for secondary and tertiary constraints. The managed services team can quickly evaluate gaps in the data and start to fill it. In addition, once the data has been created, these service teams can manage it, work with the customer to evaluate plan quality, and ensure supply chain parameters defined previously still make sense. Take, for example, at time of implementation, it was indicated that the runtime of a given resource for a specific part is 10 units per hour. How was this number determined? If it was through a time and motion study, then under what circumstances? Can this machine always produce 10 units per hour? The managed service team can continually compare plan versus actuals and evaluate what planning values should be and look to maintain them. This ensures the plan always reflects reality and can be executed. In this case, the digital capabilities are with the managed services team as opposed to the client, and the managed services team will leverage artificial intelligence and machine learning to maintain current and new planning parameters, leveraging past history and changing environmental factors. In addition, they understand planning inconsistencies and problems, as well as best practice workflows, and are able to take this burden away from clients. This allows for faster and less challenging implementations and for the customer to focus on what they're good at.
Well, yeah, thanks, Anand, for this good overview of the importance of being able to create, clean, and manage the required data. But can you also discuss the other 2 points that would impact speed to value, which would be integrating business process and change management? As also, can you talk about supply chain planning tool capabilities?
Of course. Unfortunately, in most supply chain planning implementations, business process and change management are very often largely ignored. And commonly, the supply chain planning tool team are expected to perform these activities. While they might be able to define a new process, true business process and change management are highly specialized skills. These activities need to be performed by suitably qualified teams. While the 2B solution has elements of the new technology, there are many areas which users will be involved in, which the supply chain planning tool is not directly a part of. It is key that roles and responsibilities are defined for the new processes. People are adequately trained, leaders and stakeholders are fully bought in, and impacts are clearly communicated. For example, a supply chain planning tool is a key part of the sales and operations planning process. However, the cadence, meeting agendas, metrics, attendees, general facilitation, etc., are all outside of the supply chain planning technology. They need to be managed for the successful implementation of the project and will be defined and initiated by the business process and change team and then transition to the customer. It is key that implementations define specific business process and change management teams. Today's digital environment helps these teams as there are now capabilities available to define the required business workflows without the need for technical intervention or coding. Visual drag and drop tools allow widgets to be defined representing steps in the workflow, detailing the interchange of information and filling in the white space between systems. These widgets can also define the cadence, metrics, etc. of the process steps. Libraries can be created for common process steps, allowing them to be reused. This ensures business teams are not restricted by the bandwidth of the IT organization and can get solutions to problems quickly as opposed to going through the full IT project approval and implementation lifecycle. In addition, tools like robotic process automation can be used to streamline and automate mundane process steps, allowing users to focus on more value-added decision making. This helps with change management, allowing the business user to drive the new process forward, ensuring it provides the capabilities they need, as opposed to the IT team defining the process based on the limitations of the system. In the case of supply chain planning tool capabilities, the leading supply chain planning tools are tried and tested, and the delivery teams have deep knowledge of the system and its corresponding 2B solution modeling requirements, definition of planning and scheduling features, and the optimization parameters to use. Many of these supply chain planning tools have been re-architected to be digitally enabled. They now leverage platform and network structures to not only represent the four walls of a company, but its extended value chain with the requisite tiers of suppliers and customers. In addition, these tools can now exploit parallel computing to optimize multiple scenarios at once, simultaneously providing high-quality plans considerably faster than in the past.
So that was really helpful, Anant. As a wrap up, could you briefly describe some of the benefits which digital enablement would provide for supply chain planning?
Sure, I'd be happy to. Over the past 20 years, while many aspects of supply chain planning solution delivery have remained the same, today's digital environment offers an opportunity for customers to obtain the full value of these solutions. Digital advancements such as machine learning, robotic process automation, and artificial intelligence have shown to improve supply chain planning implementations by creating rules to clean and manage data, allow business users to easily define workflows across systems without the need for deep IT and technical expertise, as well as bringing data from multiple tiers of suppliers and customers and exploit parallel processing capabilities. To maximize this value, software and services companies delivering supply chain planning solutions should provide capabilities and even organize and orientate themselves directly or through partners across process and change management, managed services, and supply chain planning specific solutions, leveraging the digital capabilities available in a methodical crawl, walk, and run implementation cycle.
So, so my final comment then is, thank you very much for today's interview. And can you provide a brief background of yourself?
Definitely. From an education perspective, I have an undergraduate degree in industrial manufacturing and a PhD in operations research. My first job from university was with a company called I2 Technologies, which many people in the supply chain world will know. I was with them all over a decade, and they gave me the opportunity to be based in Europe, Asia, and North America. I then joined KPMG working in their supply chain management consulting group. I had a brief stint in industry working for Med Assets and JC Penney, and currently I'm a supply chain advisor for an advisory company called Aleta. I've always worked in supply chain and like to focus on planning, in particular the ability to make planning better through digital enablement. It's something that I really enjoy. Thank you for your time as well as for listening.